Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Sammy here with the second jam of the day. This is gonna be the early afternoon jam. I'm going to do two more today. I'll have four total. Um, got some lovely tea here. That's got what's the seed? It's some kind of seed inside that. Like it's fennel. Maybe it's fennel seeds. I'm not sure. It's some kind of like seed in the licorice anise fennel family. And then what was the other thing? Karkade, what's that in English? Hibiscus. Karkade is what the Egyptians call hibiscus, slash hibiscus in Arabic. I just say the Egyptians because it's a very popular. They like to do like an iced hibiscus tea there. Da, 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 da. So earlier today, I kind of had. Well, I've been asking like friends of mine for feedback on my jams, and I've been getting some really good feedback. Some of which I'm like ready to work on, lots of which I'm not. Like some of I've had friends for this entire year telling me to, or last year rather, telling me to do live streams, which is what I'm working towards. But it's I just want to build up a lot more foundational skills first before I get into the interactivity, because that really changes kind of the dynamic, and I just want to like yeah, I just want to really have good composition freestyling skills first at the level that I want to be at before shifting gears. But one feedback was given was around freestyle topics and kind of the repetitiveness. I've had that come a couple times now, and I realized this morning that if I set a topic first instead of just like going at it with nothing, then I don't repeat myself, and just it becomes a lot more interesting. And I've kind of noticed in in the past, but this is the first time that I've like really like become aware of it in an intellectual like intentional manner, because I'd just gotten the feedback that morning from a friend that like kind of as I was singing, I was like, oh wait, I'm just doing the same thing, and let me sing about clutter in my room. Let's talk about my new space that I'm moving into, where I'll have an actual music studio and not have to be anywhere near as cluttered. And then there was like 5 minutes of just a great freestyle that was in flow the whole time and just very different from anything I'd done. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do an experiment here. I'm a huge nerd, as many of you probably know, and as many of you guys might not know, I'm a huge space nerd, super into cosmology, astrophysics, that whole world of things. In fact, when I went to university, I started working on an astronomy and astrophysics degree until I very quickly realized that at that level, it's all just math, and I didn't really want to do a math degree. So I backed off from that path in my life, but still super uh, knowledgeable outside of kind of the underlying mathematical layer about cosmology and all the various space sciences. And so I think for this experiment today, what I'm going to do is all my freestyles are going to be like science freestyles about space. And of course, this is probably going to get into kind of more like what is life, what is reality topics, because to me that goes hand in hand with cosmology. It's like what the heck is this universe that we're in? Why are we here? Philosophy and cosmology to me are like very very closely related, even though like in terms of the actual like work in the science level, you don't really get into philosophy in that kind of way. But I'm sure a lot of cosmologists think about this kind of stuff all the time. Anyway, point being, topics. I'm gonna have topics. I'm not gonna start freestyling until I decide like, oh, let's sing about black holes, or let's sing about the formation of our solar system, or whatever it might be. And that's my intention here. Yeah, it'll be my first time kind of approaching it in this way, and we'll see where it goes. I guess I kind of did it with the ode to Mrs. Mrs. Cat is my ex roommate's cat. Um, I did a jam about her, uh, and that was actually it was kind of the same thing. Like when I like actually like remembered to do it, like the freestyles were a lot more interesting and different. It was, if you're watching me for the first time, maybe you won't feel that something being repetitive. But if you've been seeing a bunch of these videos, you'll notice that there's like certain tropes, certain words, certain things I just keep going back to. My roommate Scott tells me you hope too much. You always say the word hope. It's a crutch for you, and it's true. uh, so yeah, this is going to be an attempt to intentionally not um not settle into those crutches. So I'm gonna have some more of this tea here. And if we're talking about space here, I think we need some reverb. Let's make it a big ol' reverb here. Oh yeah. Space. Space. The final frontier. Too much? Let's try that. Space. So.
Fictitiousness enters into the theories that we come up with anew to explain how we are here and how our atmosphere here is dear. But I'ma try my best, and now let me get something off my chest. The best theory that we have about how we came to be, breathing the air around you and me. Oh baby, it comes back to how water got on our planet. Cause without that shit, we would not be able to breathe, not even a bit now. Now the best theory that's supported by science, you see, is not what you would expect, baby. Not at all, because back in the day, Earth didn't have any water, and it is that crazy. Oh, let me explain it how it came to be. You say, in the early days of our solar system, our sun, it was really hot, damn. And it was so hot that anything that was caught inside of the inner solar system, as in within the orbit of Jupiter, you see, those planets, they couldn't have any little bits of matter that were light, you see. Anything like oxygen or water was burnt up, pushed away by solar wind. So the inner planets, they did begin to be formed solely by iron and nickel things that were hard like metal. And that's why we have inside this space we have the rocky planets, cause anything else it was pushed away, burned up. That's why all the water, all the ice there far away is no surprise. The gas giants and the ice giants that we got really far away, cause that's where those light matter could stay. But here on Earth, back in the early days, did you know there was no water? You couldn't have a swimming lake day. So how is it that we on this planet that we live on, you see all around us so much blueness, so much water, oh baby? Well, here is the thing. Here is the thing. This water wasn't here originally, but lots of comets they did bring. They did bring water to us, one droplet at a time. But those drops, they were much bigger than yours or mine, you see. They were giant comets, massive, full of so much energy. And think I'm flinging around the sun into our planet, and then they burst into the ground and blow shit up. What? You know, maybe 30, 40,000 tons or millions of tons. I don't actually know exactly how much there is in one comet, but it's pretty fucking massive. Bigger than New York City, bigger than Maine. Actually, probably not bigger than Maine. That would be quite insane. But they come in all kinds of different sizes, and every single one that comes is a surprise, full of water and other minerals too, probably. But one drop at a time, and when we say drop, we're really talking, you know, a few thousand cubic kilometers of water. They smash into our world, and slowly over millions, billions of years, Earth started to have some water. Earth started to have some water. And slowly our oceans built up. Slowly our oceans built up. And eventually, you see, we had enough water so that you and me and all of the other biological life on Earth could soon be existing. Cause originally, there was enough, let's try again. Originally, there was not enough water to create you and me, baby. But now we here, oh baby. And I gotta be clear, that's just a theory, but it's the best one that we got today. Cause that's how science works, baby. You put out an idea, and then you see if you can prove it to be real with all the evidence that you can collect from our atmosphere. And today, humanity, hey, that's the best story that we have come up with here today about how water came to be. And then from that we get our atmosphere, because without water we would not be here. The oxygen that we got all around us, dear, it would be much harder to be here, because the oxygen revolution that did come came from a life form that needed water.
exactly what I want to be doing here today, baby. Getting down musically with you as I tell you about cosmology, cause that is the way that we have come to be here every day, baby. And you know it's important for me to be able to say to you exactly how things around us hold true to the best of our ability and our knowledge that we have here, you see. So let me take a pause because I gotta decide on a topic. So let me think. Black holes. Black holes are cool. Let's go to school and learn about what makes black holes tick. Cause you might think that it's magic, and you know, honestly, it kinda is, cause we don't understand it all that much just yet. But you better bet that we understand more and more every single day, because everybody implores us to look out at the skies and to see what might be out there. Oh baby, oh he. But before we can get into talking about black holes, we gotta first talk about where they come from, I suppose. So you see, we already talked about the sun earlier today, and how in the early days it was really hot, so much that it pushed little mass things away, like so what the thing about the sun is, as it goes on its own journey, hun, it goes through all kinds of different phases. It turns into different places, and right now we're in what's called the main sequence of our sun, which means, hun, is gonna go on in the same way for a long time. That's true, and you know, we got another billion years or 2 or 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many until the end of our sun, but eventually the sun, it will turn into a explosion, you see, baby. And if it was massive enough, it would turn into a black hole. But we're not gonna get there just yet, cause I want to explain a bit more about the sun and how it works, my dear, cause I think it's important for us to know, dear me, because I want to be in this chronologically. Don't want to jump to the end when we haven't even done the beginning. So before we get to black holes, I'm gonna first explain some more about what happens in the main sequence of our sun. Now, hun, don't you know the sun is the biggest source of energy that we got available to us freely? But you know what, baby? The only reason that it works is cause it's got so much gravity. Cause the way the sun works is it smushes together particles, baby. And when it smushes them together, then they turn into a little nuclear fusion explosion. Ooh, now that is different from what we do over here when we have nuclear reactors or nuclear bombs, my dear. Cause what we do is called fission. What that means is that we take a lot of energy and we smash some things together forcefully, actually. And no, it's not. Yeah, okay. So we actually, let's try it again. Let's start it again, because it's actually true, but not what fission is. Here. So what we do is we take a lot of energy and we smash things here together. We compress them to the point that there's an explosion there forever. And that explosion, it injects a bunch of energy into uranium, plutonium, and other things that are massive, baby. And we split them apart. And when you split that molecule, oh what? A lot of energy comes out, and that's how you end up with the mushroom cloud. But nuclear fusion's a much more beautiful thing, cause it's not about destruction, no, it's about creating. You take a molecule, or actually just an element, and then you start to cement it with another one, creating love life. Now let me explain to you about how we turn atoms into husbands and wives. Actually, we can't do that ourselves yet, though there's a whole bunch of science experiments beginning that shit. So the way it works inside our sun, and inside almost every single star that you see in the night sky, hun, we got a hydrogen core, which means that there's a lot more hydrogen there than anything else in our galaxy, baby. Our universe is mostly hydrogen, you see. It's the single lightest element, baby, in our period. hydrogen slowly beginning to spin. Well, as they come out and turn into a star of massive gas, so blasting from the past. Oh baby, but what's that? These collections of very, very light hydrogen, they get so big that they start to begin to have some gravity that pulls even more in. And that's when the star does begin, because inside the core, in the center of that mass, the gas is pressed together that it does start to blast. The pressure from gravity is so damn high that two hydrogen together will become just one, my oh my. And when hydrogen is squished together, you end up with helium. And well, that's not all, you also get some weather coming out in the form of energy. A photon, baby, is escaped from that reaction, you see. And that single photon is a ray of light, but that's what comes right to our us to give us delight as we look around us, around. This is hard, but I'm gonna keep going because I'm also like enjoying like actually trying to explain science in this form. First time doing it, so clearly there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm loving this thing and I'm gonna explore this a lot more. Where were we? Okay, so hydrogens get squished together, they make helium, but that's not all. We also get this super duper yummy energy photon going out, and then eventually that'll hit you and make you shout, yippee, I can see, 'cause the photon delight me in my eyes and everything that I see, honey, yippee. But here's the thing, that photon that you did see and that about which you sing, it won't actually get to you for 1,000,000 years or two, because that's how long that it takes for that photon to escape from our star's belly. 'Cause you see, there's literally hundreds of trillions, probably far more than that, I don't know how many, but it's basically infinity number of atoms inside our sun, and they're all pressing down on everything under them. Oh, and that means that photons, they do not go out, they bounce around, bounce around, bounce around for millions of years, until eventually, by sheer chance, they have figured out how to get to the edge of the sea of flames and explosions and fusion, huh? And that is when a ray of light finally escapes from the sun. And this goes on for billions of years. Very slowly, hydrogen is converted into helium. Yeah. I like that rhyme. You should have lots of creative license to make things rhyme. Where were we? And eventually there's no more hydrogen, and oh, that is when a shift does begin. But instead of me getting into that right away, why don't I take a pause here, baby, to create a new beat for us, because this has gone on for too long. This song has gotta change, not doing that would be wrong. So let's see where we go. baby, depending on the sun. Cause after the hydrogen is done, what happens then, hun, is this. You see, it tries to continue to have fusion happening, but it's true that it's out of hydrogen, so it can't do it with that. So we have a bigger shuffle and a shift in that of sun's belly, you see. And now what is happening is helium starts to fuse, baby, but only if it's massive enough. Cause it might be so light that the gravitational pull is not enough to kick off a fusion reaction. And if that's the case, well then you get an explosion. Cause the thing about stars is that they're in equilibrium. There's a constant push and pull that keeps them stable, hun. On the one hand we have gravity that is squishing everything down there, baby, but it's counteracted by the fusion, which gives off a lot of pressure, energy, and heat, son. And if all of a sudden the gravity is not enough to pull together helium, well, that's tough. I'm gonna implode, that star said. And that is what happens, right there. You see, everything starts to implode cause there's no more outward pressure, as there's no helium turning into whatever the next element is. And when you get that biz, so that's when things explode, miss. And after the implosion comes a massive, massive explosion, yeah. And that's one possibility, but hopefully that sun's more massive than that, baby. And if that's the case, well, it'll continue to explode every day in that time space. But not the explosion I was just talking about, huh? No, this one is more fusion with a hydrogen. Excuse me, I meant to say helium turning into whatever that next higher element might be, baby. Can't you see? And the fusions, they become more complex the higher up you go, baby. And this pattern that I just explained, it does repeat. It repeats every stage until we get to nickel or iron. Cause you see, our stars, they can't fuse that, baby. Cause once you get to an element that heavy, then you need to inject energy in order to create fusion. And so that can't happen inside any sun, because the only thing they use to create the explosions of fusion is the gravity, and they got a lot of mass, And eventually, baby, if you have an iron or a nickel core, what happens, you see, is once all of that is created, the gravity kicks in, and the star is abated because it no longer has the ability to fuse, because it does not have the energy to add to a fusion. And so, at that point, a star will implode and then explode no matter what. And that is what's known as a nova. When a star, it stops being held together, and it starts to fall apart, oh baby. And I hope if that's happened near you, you get far, cause there ain't any way you'd survive with all that radiation coming out would fry anything alive. And if it is big enough, it's a supernova. Oh, that just means it's an extra big one. And usually, hun, if it's massive enough, what happens, my dear, is this interesting thing, which does bring us to how black holes begin. Cause usually in a star like ours, when it's a time for it to no longer be alive, what happens is when it implodes, it then explodes, and you get a massive supernova, bro. And all of the star matter gets taken far away to eventually be the seed for a planet like Earth. Cause you know that's how all the metals that we got, they were created inside a supernova explosion. explosion, baby. And you know that we got metals that are more heavy than nickel and iron, and that's where they were created, in the belly of a star as it exploded, baby. Because when these explosions happen, you then get energy. And I told you before that fusing higher heaviness metals, they need an injection of energy, and that happens in a nova, nova, nova. But I'll tell you about a black hole, and that happens after we get another thing, cause my brain is at the end of the capacity with the speed. So let's get something black holy going on here. Black hole sun, won't you come? Magical black holes. You see, what happens is when this implosion that we talked already about, miss, starts to happen if it's got enough gravity. Well, then you can dismiss the thought that it would eventually be exploding out there, you see, cause as it starts to implode, well, it's just got too much of a load. And all of a sudden, all these things coming together inside. This gravity is so strong, it's grabbing things left and right. All of it's coming in, and normally you'd end up with an explosion. But in this case, that's not what happens. Instead, we get a hole in time-space, because the gravity is just so strong. It pulls everything all along, and it punches a hole through our fabric of reality. Oh baby, it's not true. We don't know, cause we've never been there, boo. It's one of those things that we don't quite understand it. But you know, we're doing our best, doing the best that we can with our limited understanding of reality, trying to see what can be happening there, baby. But as far as I can understand it, there's a lot of theories around what happens in that shit. Some people think that there is literally everything in that star that previously did sing with light and energy is now turned into literally just one particle, baby. All of it smushed together, no longer free. One thing with infinite gravity. That is a theory that we got, but we don't know. There's no way to test that without destroying ourselves in the process and becoming part of something else known as a black hole, baby. But maybe there's a different theory. Some people think that a wormhole is open into another part of our galaxy, or maybe an entirely new universe somewhere else. Who knows? How do we test that? I don't know until we grow a few million more years old. But that can only happen if we are no longer the shitty versions of ourselves that we are here, dear. And you know what? I fear that I'm dwindling with this energy. 40 minutes, dang, you see, it's really hard to be continuing to freestyle all sciencey. And I haven't done this before, but you know what? I think I'ma do it some more. But for now, I'm gonna take a break, cause my brain, it hurts, and I need some lunch of breakfast, actually. No, that's not true. I had some dates earlier, baby. But it don't matter, because this is Sammy. Has gotta end this shit, baby. Don't worry, I'll be back. And I gotta tell you that I really like my theory around freestyle raps being better when I have a topic, baby. And I hope that you would agree. And if you do, please tell me in the comments down below, you see, cause I'd love to hear what you think about this idea of continuing to sing about science, cause I like it quite a bit, though I do admit there's a lot of work for me to do to make it that much more legit. And there's a lot of other science I'm pretty knowledgeable in. Okay, I'm gonna stop that there. That was really fun. I like that experiment. Definitely not like, it definitely wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like, you know, perfect in flow. There's like a lot of screw ups, but it was an experiment, and I like the possibilities. I'm a huge science nerd. I've got lots I can sing about in relation to biology, chemistry. Just so much. I like spend probably approaching 10,000 hours reading Wikipedia articles and and all that rabbit hole that I get led into. So much about different spacecraft, and just like I could spend like an entire hour singing about just like the planets of Jupiter. And there's a lot of interesting things that happen there, and on Saturn's moons, not planets, the moons of Jupiter. What makes a difference? Whatever. I think planet's fine. It's a satellite orbiting a thing that is almost big enough to be a star, but not quite. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you did enjoy that. And I'll be back in a couple hours after I've put actual food in my belly and not just like a few dates. To see where we go at that point. Oh, there we go. That's much better, much less noise. I have a noise gate for the most part, which is why you don't hear that continuously. But
with this drive circuit, sometimes things get noisy. Okay, bye. I'm done. Bye.
Bye.